They built 96 houses on my land, not by accident, but on purpose. I inherited 47 acres in Colorado from my grandfather. It was pristine land, paid off, and beautiful. After a few years of being busy with life, I went to visit the property for the first time since my grandfather passed away. And when I arrived, I found an entire subdivision where my forest once stood. Paved roads, streetlights, and families moving furniture into homes they'd bought for $485,000 each. The HOA president, a woman who wore a Rolex like it was a badge of honor and looked down on everyone, told me to my face that I was a deadbeat squatter trying to scam hard-working families. She claimed her lawyer confirmed the land was abandoned, so under adverse possession, it legally belonged to her HOA. They had already pre-sold $16 million worth of homes. She made it clear they were not going to stop. What did I do in response? Absolutely nothing. I let them finish construction. Watched them landscape, paint, install pools, and sell houses. Then, once it was all done, I walked into federal court with my grandfather's original 1971 deed and said, "This land is mine. My name is Maya Blackwell, and I'm 43 years old. I'm a structural engineer, divorced, and drive a 2008 Dodge SUV that burns oil like it's running on diesel. I don't have much to my name except for what my grandfather left me, 47 acres of land worth about $4.2 million. William Blackwell bought that land in 1971 for $8,200 cash. He was a Depression-era man, meticulous in everything he did. He kept every receipt, every ledger, and every record of his work with that land. When he died in 2019, he left me the property with one note tucked inside the deed. Don't let them take what's yours. I hadn't visited for 3 years. Life happened. Divorce, raising 2 kids, long work weeks. But I paid property taxes every year without fail. $6,400 annually. Always online. I had the receipts. In August 2022, I drove up to scatter Grandpa's ashes, expecting to see the same rolling forests and peaceful land. Instead, when I turned off Highway 36 and onto the old fire road, my stomach dropped. The pine forest was gone, replaced by 96 Mediterranean-style homes, each with faux balconies and HOA-mandated beige paint. The carved stone entrance sign read Ridgeline Heights, a Whitmore luxury community. I checked my GPS 4 times. Same coordinates. This was my land. At the gatehouse, a security guard stopped me, stating it was residents only. I held up my phone with a photo of the deed and said, "I own this property." He smirked and said, "Sure, buddy." "Turn around." Before I could argue, a white Range Rover pulled up. Out stepped Cassandra Whitmore, mid-50s, Botoxed into a permanent look of mild surprise. She wore white linen clothes that probably cost more than my monthly mortgage. There was something in the way she carried herself, as if the world owed her everything. "Problem, Ray?" she asked the guard, not even acknowledging me. She turned, looked me up and down, work boots, Carhartt jacket, and calloused hands, and immediately filed me away in her mind under poor. "How charming," she said, in that dismissive, sugar-sweet tone. "Sweetie, if you're looking for construction work, most crews have filled their labor positions, but I can take your number." "I'm not looking for work. I'm the legal owner. My grandfather, William Blackwell." "Oh." She took out her phone, scrolled with her perfectly manicured nails. Our title company ran a forensic search. This land was abandoned for over 3 years, which under Colorado adverse possession law means it's ours, I interrupted. "But I've been paying property taxes the whole time." Her smile sharpened into something more sinister. "That's adorable. You know just enough to be dangerous." She pulled out a business card, held it between 2 fingers like it was contaminated. "Brian Keir, our attorney. He'll explain why your claim is—" "What's the legal term?" "Frivolous." I took the card, and her next words were a threat. "How many houses are sold?" "All 96, she replied, her voice dripping with smug satisfaction. "Pre-construction sales totaled $16 million. Families are moving in by Thanksgiving." She said it like a warning. "This is a legitimate development, properly permitted through Boulder County. If you continue trespassing, I'll personally call Sheriff Mitchell. We're major contributors to his department's equipment fund." Then she did something that made my blood freeze. She pulled out her phone, snapped a picture of my license plate. "Just in case you decide to come back and vandalize anything," she said. "We have excellent security footage. And trust me, honey, people like you don't win against people like us." I drove home, hands shaking, fury building with every mile. That night, I spread Grandpa's documents across my kitchen table. The 1971 deed, 47 annual tax receipts, survey maps. Cassandra had just threatened me, photographed my truck, and implied I was a criminal. But she'd also given me everything I needed to bury her. I called Brian Keir, Cassandra's lawyer, the next morning. His receptionist had the kind of pleasant voice dentists use when they're about to tell you that you need a root canal. "Mr. Keir is in depositions all week. Can I take a message?" I gave my name, and after a brief pause, she said, "Oh yes, Mr. Keir anticipated your call. He's authorized me to offer a nuisance settlement of $15,000 if you'll sign a quitclaim deed by Friday. $15,000 for $4 million in land." I knew exactly what a quitclaim deed was. It's when you sign away your rights without anyone promising that those rights exist. It was essentially saying, "I give up. I don't care anymore." I'd heard this from my divorce lawyer. He told me never to sign one unless I was absolutely sure I was walking away from nothing. "Tell Mr. Keir I'll see him in court," I said, and hung up before she could respond. I needed a real lawyer, not the one who'd handled my divorce. I called Lydia Chen, a civil engineer who'd won a case against a railroad company. Her consultation fee was $500, but I knew it would be money well spent. Her office smelled like old leather and lemon furniture polish. Lydia was about 60, with gray hair in a tight bun and glasses hanging from a beaded chain. She listened carefully to my story without interrupting, making notes in her perfect handwriting. "Show me your tax receipts," she said. When I finished, I handed over a folder full of documents, email receipts, bank statements, county records, and Grandpa's original tax payment records. Lydia flipped through them with a slight smile tugging at her lips. "Colorado adverse possession requires 18 years of open, continuous, hostile possession, and the squatter has to pay property taxes the entire time. Your claim is solid. Then why don't we stop them now?" I asked. "Because if we stop construction now," Lydia explained, "Cassandra's company declares bankruptcy, and your land is tied up in years of litigation with 96 families who bought homes in good faith. It'll be legal whack-a-mole. Instead, let them finish. Then we file for a declaratory judgment. You'll own 96 completed homes." I stared at her, unsure of what she was suggesting. "How much?" I finally asked. "40 to 50,000 in legal fees, maybe. But when we win, and we will, the court awards damages for trespass, fraud, and attorney's fees. You'll own the houses outright. Sell them, rent them, or negotiate a settlement." I didn't have that much in savings, but I found myself agreeing. "Let's do it." Lydia and I worked through the next few months, documenting every single move Cassandra and Preston made. I kept time-stamped photos, visited the site, and even hired a private investigator to dig into Cassandra's background. We uncovered it all. Cassandra's fraudulent activities and other developments, including a bribery scheme with a title company and her use of false claims to speed up permits. And when I shared the information with Lydia, she was ready to fight back in the courtroom. The day of the trial, I stood in the courtroom, nervous but determined. Lydia, confident as ever, stood tall beside me, Cassandra Whitmore. The woman who had thought she could take what was mine was sitting at the defendant's table, her face frozen in contempt. I stared at her, filled with anger. What she didn't know was that every fraudulent move she made was only helping me. The truth was on my side. The trial was long, but we had all the evidence. Cassandra tried to cover her tracks, but the lies were too deep. We showed how she had deliberately tried to manipulate the system for her personal gain, putting 96 families in harm's way. In the end, we won everything. The court awarded me full title to the land, including the 96 homes. But I did something unexpected, something Cassandra never saw coming. I didn't evict the families. I gave them the homes. I transferred the 96 homes to the Ridgeline Heights Community Trust. The families now owned their homes without any more payments. And I made sure that my grandfather's legacy lived on by creating a scholarship fund for local students. The money from the properties went to help the community, not just me. I didn't want revenge. I wanted justice. If you like this story, hit that like button, share your thoughts below, and subscribe for more HOA tales and real-life neighborhood drama each week.